So same circuit can be used as a timer and counter. And the work of this watchdog timer is it starts counting when the execution starts. When the execution of the firmware starts, it starts counting. And for every instruction execution, some predefined time is allocated. For example, in 1 nanosecond, the execution of the particular instruction has to be completed. If it is doesn't complete that, the execution of the particular instruction within the specified at the maximum limit of time, what it will do, no, it hangs up the execution of the program. It hangs up there and generates the interrupt. So that is the one of the work of the watchdog timer. Okay, so it continuously monitors the execution of the firmware, and each instruction need to be executed within the time allocated with this. Even though the execution time exceeds the maximum limit, means what, if the processor can't able to complete the execution within the maximum time given to that, at that time what it will do, it hangs up the program execution and generates the interrupt. How to generate the interrupt, you can see in this diagram here. So can you able to see this diagram, all of you? Can you able to see the diagram of the watchdog?
Yes, ma'am.
So here it is having a counter, and it also connected to the system clock. Should be connected to the system clock. Why? Because so number of how the time is, how the watchdog timer knows that 50 seconds and 100 seconds are completed only with the reference of the clock pulses generated by the oscillator circuit. Yes, so that device should be connected with the oscillator circuit compulsorily. Along with that, so here it is connected to reset circuit of the processor. If you see here, it is also connected to the reset circuit. It is also connected to reset pin of the processor at the core of the embedded system, which is using here. See, it is the reset signal of the processor or the controller, which is using as the core of the embedded system. So watchdog timer is directly connected to that. Whenever the execution of the instruction exceeds the maximum allotted time, at that time it enables the reset pin. Whenever the reset pin is enabled, the processor will enter into halt state or hold state. So, and most of the processors will have the inbuilt watchdog timer, and some of the process may not have this inbuilt. So at that time, what we'll do, we'll use the external watchdog timer integrated circuit. Okay, so it is about the watchdog timer, one of the system component which protects the system while execution of the firmware is going on and it exceeds the maximum amount of time limit. Whenever the execution of the instruction exceeds the maximum amount of time limit. All of you understood the watchdog timer? All of you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So a watchdog timer is to monitor the firmware execution and reset the system processor when the program execution hangs up or generates an interrupt in the case of execution time for a task is exceeding the maximum allowed limit. And these most of the process implement the watchdog timer as an inbuilt component and provides the status register to control the watchdog timer. And some of the devices or some of the process controls may not have the inbuilt watchdog timer. At that time, that can be implemented using the external watchdog timer. IC will be connected to that. And so with this, we completed the system components, right? Yes or no? We completed the system components. So in the third unit, we are having the syllabus like, can you please read the syllabus of the third unit? Reset circuit, brownout production circuit, real-time clock.
Oscillator circuit, watchdog timer.
Yeah, till that we completed, right?
Yes.
Till that we completed. What is the topic remaining in the third unit?
Design approaches and
development languages.
Yes. So one the topic that is remaining in the third unit is firmware design approaches and development languages. Today we are going to discuss about the development languages which are required for the embedded firmware. The languages which are used to develop the embedded firmware. You can see here. So for the embedded firmware to develop, how many languages we can use here? How many types of languages are provided? How many types of languages are provided here? 1, 2, 3. Yes or no? There are 3 types of development languages are used for the embedded firmware. Or 3 types of languages are used to develop the embedded firmware. First thing is processor or controller specific language. Processor or controller dependent language, and that is also called as assembly level language. And second category is target processor controller independent language, that is also called as high level language. And third one is combination of these two. What are the 3 types of languages which supports the development of the embedded firmware? What are the 3 types of languages that supports the development of the embedded firmware?
Specific language, high level language, combination
Low
of
level
assembly and high level language.
Assembly level language, high level language, combination of assembly and high level language. Assembly level language is also called as processor dependent language. High level language is also called as processor independent language. Remember, assembly level language is a processor dependent language, and also assembly level language is a low level language. Whereas the embedded C, embedded C++ is there, no, they are high level languages and which are processor independent languages. High level languages and processor independent languages. And first we will see about the assembly level language based development of embedded firmware. And here assembly level language is a human readable notation of machine language. Okay, so these language use the symbols. The symbols which are used by the assembly level language is called as what? Mnemonics. The assembly level language used while writing the program in its assembly level language, you will use some symbols. That symbols are called as mnemonics. Okay, so here we can also say this assembly level language is the interface between the processor and programmer. Yes or no? If you are the programmer, you are writing the program in assembly level language and converting it to binary code and dumping into the program memory or code memory or flash memory of the embedded system. That system is understanding that binary equivalent of your program and acting according to that. So this program, isn't it the program is interface between you and the embedded system? Yes or no? Yes or no, ma? Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
So here we are using some symbols in the assembly level language by writing the program. That symbols are called as mnemonics. Okay. So here this assembly level language can be
Ma'am,
considered
your
as
voice is not clear, ma'am.